Hello, and welcome to the Desire of Horror podcast, the show where we review horror movies and discuss what these films say about the nature of human desire. I'm Charla, and with me always is Marty. How are
Hey,
you
how's it
doing?
going, Shar? I'm good, thanks. How are
Good.
you?
Doing great. How are you? I already asked you how you were doing. Never mind.
Yeah, great,
Andrea
thanks.
is here joining
I'm
us
doing well
again.
as well.
How are you doing, Andrea?
I'm great. Thank you, Charla. How are you?
I am wonderful. So welcome everyone to season three of the Desire of Horror podcast. This season we'll be taking a deep dive into occult horror, and I am very, very excited. But we're starting off this evening with 1968's The Devil Rides Out,
All
which
right.
is a
Ooh.
bonkers, crazy
Quite bonkers. Yeah.
late 60s movie.
As is
So
appropriate for occult movies for sure. Keep
Mhm.
your
yeah.
occult weird. That's all I gotta
Yes,
say.
absolutely. 100%. We put that on a t-shirt.
Uh,
I kept thinking of Mystery Science Theater. Like, should have done, maybe they did do this.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
I'm
know,
sure
they
they
but
did. I'm
did.
sure they did.
I think
Yeah,
they
I
We'll
bet
have
they
to
must
did.
because it
find
was
that.
so, yeah.
No
Yeah,
question. Yeah.
yeah. So let's just start with a little bit of production notes. So the release date of this movie is December 18th, 1968. That's the US release date. Directed by Terence Fisher. Screenplay written by Richard Matheson and based on the 1934 novel of the same title by Dennis Wheatley. And which I thought this was crazy. This movie is rated G.
What? Look at this guy.
So,
Does he look G
yeah,
rated?
I know. Well, I guess back in the 60s, right? The rating system I think was a little bit different to where if there wasn't like sex, I guess, or like bad language or
There was
whatever.
a lot of corn syrup blood in this, but
There
yeah.
was a lot of corn syrup blood, which surprised me why it would be G, but it is. Now, I also did read that in some places it's PG. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, G is wild. So we're gonna just jump right in. Um, right off the bat, we get great opening credits, right? We get some good devil imagery going
Oh,
on
and
and
music. I
oh
mean, the
my
music right
God,
off the bat was
so good.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very doubly.
Yes, absolutely. Super dramatic music, and it was great. And I love good opening credits. I don't know. That's just one of the things that I'm like, it just draws you right in. So this film, set in London and in the south of England in 1929, our story finds scholarly Nicholas Duc de Richelieu. Is that right, Marty? Richelieu?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Um, yeah, played by the impeccable Christopher Lee.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and- yeah, great. I love Christopher Lee. And his friend Rex Van Ryn, played by Leon Green.
His really
They're in,
weirdly loyal friend. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Rex. Rex is probably my favorite character in this
He's
whole
supposed to be American.
movie.
I don't, did he
Yeah.
seem
Oh,
American? Or
I mean, he came in on a
I think he,
plane. I
I
don't
think he was a bot. Yeah.
he's
If
more
you think
than
of the,
willing to do whatever needs to be done, that Rex.
man.
but
He
he's kind of a
is,
dum dum. He's like,
He
yeah.
rushes in. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he is Nicholas's ride or die, that's for sure. Like he is his bestie. But they're investigating the strange actions of his protege, Simon Aaron, played by Patrick Moore, the son of a late friend, and they unexpectedly arrive at Simon's estate where they discover a strange gathering of 13 people who claim to be an astronomy club.
Yeah. Well, they don't.
Um,
He claimed
he
it.
claims, Simon
That's his,
claims it,
Because
yeah.
they don't,
right?
yeah, because like, yeah, nobody else is gonna go for that.
No.
Yeah.
And everyone at this party is looking super sus. Like they they are just a hodgepodge of like different types
Mhm.
of people. You got some older people. You got this one
That's like
little
the
like,
UN of Satan worshippers was over
yeah,
there.
exactly. Right. They just
And
like
somebody was handing out all the eyeliner. Like, did you know? Because he
oh,
was like the
so much
countess.
And just
eyeliner.
makeup in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
serious
yeah.
makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, we got old, we got new, we got young, we got,
Different
black, white.
cultures.
It's like
Yep.
just yeah, different cultures. So it's already looking kind of like what's happening here.
Hmm.
So so they discover, so Nicholas and Rex discover Simon's house is filled with unusual markings and a pentagram on the floor. They also find live chickens in a closet,
No,
which,
that's a sign right
right,
there. Some
it is a
shit's going
sign.
on.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
So just a little side note, I did find this really interesting when I was looking up this movie. So Christopher Lee, right? This is a rare heroic role for Christopher Lee, who usually plays the villain in
Hmm.
movies. So it was kind of good to see him in this kind of, taking charge, trying to figure out what's going on type of role.
Yeah. And it
So
was his
Nicholas,
favorite, right? Like, so it was like his,
yeah, yeah,
or he wanted this role really bad, and he wanted this movie to be made
yes,
really bad because I think he was always interested in like occult, kind of
yes,
issues. But
right, right.
I think he
This
thought it was
is
fun to be, the hero for once
Yeah,
instead of
exactly.
the
Right.
monster.
Yeah, this is one of his favorite roles. But I did read something that said that his favorite role out of all of them is the Wicker Man.
Oh, okay.
So, which is
oh,
another
we're
occult.
going to be doing that.
We're gonna be
Nice.
doing that soon, yeah. So yeah,
Also,
so
some
I
great music.
oh my gosh, the best. It is a spooky musical.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The Wicker Man.
Love it.
Love it. So yeah, Nicholas and his friend Rex managed to rescue Simon, and then they also rescued this another young person, Tanith, played by Nikkei Aragi, from the devil worshipping cult.
Yeah,
So
I should say a couple things about, well, one thing about that name, Tanith, and then maybe that'll get
yeah,
us to some other
yeah,
things.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cool.
So it was funny because I had just been listening to a lecture about Tanith of all things. It wasn't just about Tanith, but one of the reasons why the Romans, uh, when they were, fighting the Punic Wars in Carthage, one of the reasons that they, could bolster up the troops and talk about, we got to really kick these guys' asses once and for all, was because they supposedly worshipped Tanith, which I think was somehow associated with the moon, and they
Yes.
sacrificed children to Tanith or something like that. So
Hmm.
who knows if it's true because we only get to hear the Roman side. But like child sacrifice was a common practice at times, but it was also common to accuse people of it if you wanted to. I
Hmm.
mean, geez, that goes all the way up until now. Like
Right.
you just accuse some secret society of sacrificing children. Christians were once accused of it, and obviously Jews were accused of it. Just anybody who you didn't like, you just said they were sacrificing children, basically. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So kind of an interesting name there. And then, this is an occult group, and so they are. Occult just means hidden, occulted.
Yeah.
These
But
secret
and
societies were
Yeah, and this one
popular.
was a particularly like wealthy, highbrow, right? I mean, it seemed like they were
That's
mostly
kind of what they were
wealthy,
associated with. So one of the more
right?
famous ones at the turn of the century, with the one that Aleister Crowley came out of, was called the Golden Dawn. And so it would be
Hmm.
like these wealthy aristocrat pudwhackers who, like, I don't know, went around and like designed rituals that would, I don't know. They were always a combination of Greek mythology sometimes. They were like a lot of the religious studies about Sumeria and just Babylonian mythology was coming online around that time. So they would, like Crowley's thing and the Golden Dawn's thing, they were kind of like Masons in that they would design rituals for them to go through. And, this movie is kind of, I mean, a common misunderstanding. Like Crowley didn't worship the devil really, and none of them really did. But This was around the time when Anton LaVey started the Church of Satan. Again, he didn't really worship the devil either. It's more like
Right,
it's
right,
this like
yeah.
cult of the will kind of a thing, which maybe we'll get into later. But yeah, just it seemed like Andrea, you had some thoughts, or
No, I mean, yeah, just the fact that, this idea of secret societies that are operating, that we can't see, or that we, go undetected or whatever, just kind of adds sort of that little bit of a thrill. But you're right, it's kind of like, also somebody that you don't necessarily like. So if there was the elitists in this, or they saw that, oh, these people are, supposed to be the educated, or more wealthier groups, but then hidden underneath is this sinister um, vibe here that is going through. So I think that's something that's sort of a as old as time thing as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll get into
definitely.
another one that's got some Crowleyan spirituality in this season. One of Shar and my favorites. Shar showed it to me. It's called The Dark Song, and
Yeah.
it's based on a Crowleyan ritual. And what you can see, and this is what I mean, in that when we get to that, is like that he wasn't really trying to summon the devil. He was trying to like actually find his like guardian angel, basically. Except that like for Crowley, and this is like a little bit different than I guess most forms of Christianity. I'm not like prosperity gospel was like this, but most like I don't know what we used to call Christianity, where you weren't just trying to get your own way, was just that's a different thing altogether. But these rituals, they were designed to get you in touch with your true will, and so your guardian angel. He had another name for it, not guardian angel, but like just something angel. But anyways, they would, they were very powerful, and they represented like your will. And so, like Crowley's famous definition for magic was like getting basically what you want by other means than
Mm.
scientific means or whatever. But there was a kind of science to it nonetheless that he studied, by trying to design or recover. They always presented it as a recovered ancient ritual, but they were really just like bootlegging them, like just like trying to figure out. I mean, because like a lot of the manuals they had to look at in terms of like designing these rituals were from grimoires, which were kind of spell books, but like they're interesting because they were all written from a Christian perspective. There was like Christians studying the dark arts in order to defeat the dark arts, but like well, we come to find out, just history of religion wise, is there was nobody who was worshiping the devil at any time in
Right,
history,
right.
basically. So they would
Yeah.
study like all their rituals of the devil worshippers, but nobody was really doing that. So it just becomes a really, like basically, again, all the people accused of worshiping the devil, like witches and like the Cathars, they're all just like Jews. They were all just outside groups that
Mm.
like were painted in a certain way and
Right.
as being in league with the devil. But as far as we can tell, I mean, now there are people who do this, but nobody was like trying to summon the devil or whoever to like sell their soul to him, or whatever. Like there's just there just doesn't seem to be any evidence of that. So anyway.
Yeah. So really quickly, I just wanted to throw this little fun fact out there since he is my favorite character in this movie. So Rex, right? Played by Leon Green. He was actually an
A handsome
opera
guy.
singer.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
looks like it. He's a handsome
yeah,
guy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, handsome guy. He was actually a real life opera singer, and he kind of sang his lines. And the producers, they didn't like that. They wanted the lines to be delivered in a better manner. So
Like you
Green's
mean more serious or
dialogue,
something?
I guess, just not sing-songy
Not as
is the
like
way I'm
melodic.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't like it. So Leon's Green's dialogue is actually dubbed by an actor named
Whoa.
Patrick Allen, which I will have to say, they did a phenomenal job because you
Yeah,
cannot
I didn't know
tell
that. If you
that
till you
they're
said that, I didn't know
dubbed.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I just happened to run across this little fun fact on my favorite character,
But
Rex.
he's an interesting guy because isn't he also? I had seen that he was also a bodybuilder. Like so, he's
Oh, I
like
He
could
known
looked
see
for a lot
buff.
of
that.
action
He
scenes
could
I
and
pick
could
up the
see that.
adventure.
ladies.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to see like what somewhere in here had like he was in a couple fairly famous
Wow, that is
action and
really nuts. This dude
adventure,
rules now.
movies.
I
But
tell you, Rex is the best thing in this movie, man.
yeah. I mean, he's no joke.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
Talented
I thought he
guy.
was he was kind of an interesting um weirdo. But oh yeah, he was in one of the Bond movies. That's right. So
Oh
he's in
yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Wait, but
And
so was the
Oh,
villain
wait.
guy.
oh wait, no, that's Mikata. That was
Mikado.
Mikata. Yes,
Okay,
I
okay.
Mikata.
apologize.
Yeah,
That was I
yeah.
know Leon was yeah, in like sword and sandal type of movies. Like he was more
I'm
in the
Okay.
sure.
older,
Oh, I
like
could see
yeah.
that. I
Tights
could
and
definitely
swords
see
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
and
kind
cod
of
pieces.
No,
gladiator.
it was Charles Gray that was the Bond guy.
Yes. So
Yeah.
speaking of Makata, they find out that Makata is the cult's leader, and he uses his dark hypnotic powers to influence Simon.
Hypnosis, man. He's good with it.
Yeah, from afar. So even when they rescue Simon and Tanith, Makata's able to draw them back into the coven through his superpowers.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
super.
superpowers, yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that
He
like
can be.
I think that that's one of the themes of this movie, right? Is that like psychology and the mind is stronger than and like you use like the mind in education or like what you learned about these battling these rituals is
Right.
way stronger than their physical attempts to because like anytime in this movie when they try to rescue somebody and they're wrestling or fighting or whatever, they're really easily overcome.
Yes.
They're just like
Yes.
it's all like comically like they're tossed around and it's just
Yeah.
not visible. But with the things that they've researched or the hypnotosis or hypnotic thing that he does, he definitely is stronger that way, than
Yes.
anything else. He doesn't
Yeah.
actually try to, overpower anybody.
Well, I would tell you what's a
100%.
really amazing power is he a count? Count de Richelieu or whatever?
Yeah, I think
He's
so.
a count, yeah. So the count is able to knock Rex out, I think, twice, just
Yes.
perfectly, and then wake him
Yes.
back up exactly when he needs him to come back awake. Or no, he
Exactly.
knocks out his protege, whose name I
Simon.
forgot.
He knocks out
He
Simon.
knocks out
Simon.
Simon, yeah, at least
Right.
once, and then maybe the other guy once. And it's just like this is the era when you could knock people out,
You
like,
could just
and they
slap
would
people
and
around. Yeah.
they would just
But
like
like,
nobody's gonna go into like head trauma or anything like that. It's just gonna be straight up
yep.
knocked out.
Wait, does
And yeah,
Tanith get this? Wait, we haven't got to this part yet, but I can't remember. Does Tanith get slapped around by Rex? If she gets like shook or something
he
like.
gets like tied down and held back and
Okay,
yeah, that kind of
because
thing.
I feel like this is definitely the era where a woman
Oh,
is
yeah.
probably going to get slapped in a movie and told to be calm,
Yeah,
calm,
he
to
shakes her
calm
a little
down.
bit in like
Doesn't he
in
shake
the
her a little
hay.
bit?
I think like when she's laying down in the hay, but then when the devil or whoever is taking over his mind, he unties her like real
Okay,
gently
okay,
and like, oh man, I don't
okay.
Mokata.
want to do that.
I couldn't
Where is that name
remember.
Mokata's,
from? I couldn't. Did anybody find out where Mokata comes from?
You
Like
know
that's
I
what?
don't know.
I
nothing that I
know.
know
I
of.
have nothing. I have nothing, but it sounds super occulty. Like
It
I don't know
does.
where they got it from, but Makata does sound super like he sounds
Right.
like he would be the leader of a cult.
Yep.
Well, the
So yeah.
Count de
So
Richelieu has a lot of skills. Is like so he's our man who can do everything.
Yeah.
And Shar, you
yeah,
were
yeah,
saying that he's from a book series or something like that. Is that right?
oh yeah. So this is like I said in the beginning, this is based off of a novel by the same name by author Dennis Wheatley. And Wheatley has written a series of books, and Nicholas is like he's the protagonist in like all of these series of
That
books.
is
So he
totally
shows
hilarious.
up. So
The
I'm just
Count,
assuming yeah,
who's a hero.
I didn't go into details, but I'm assuming that he just probably plays like the hero in like all of these different series, I guess.
He
I don't
just
know.
shows up when need be. Thankfully, has studied the occult, even though he doesn't participate, and he
Right.
knew the signs right away. He like remember when he goes, Shh, listen, and it's like the
Yeah.
scratching sound. It's like
Yeah.
dude knew there was gonna be chickens there because he opened the thing. And he's just like, chickens.
He's
Yeah.
like, no.
No,
This is some
remember,
bullshit here.
was it Rex who tried to open it and he like stopped him from opening it and then they opened it
Yeah.
anyways? I was
So I
like,
was
this
like,
is
oh, is it snakes?
good
Yeah.
drama. Yeah,
No, he knew. He knew not
Yeah.
to. He knew it was gonna be snakes. There's gonna be some chicken shit going on.
gonna be
So
some
yeah.
chickens. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
can we talk about his hands for just a second though too? Because Marty, you kind of alluded to like there's so many scenes where the Count, I mean, he's just like pointing or like this intense,
Yes,
Yeah.
like, hand of,
very
you know,
intense.
He's
Yes,
good with hands.
he's very good with
I
yeah,
his
mean,
hands.
expressive.
Yeah.
He has expressive hands. Do
Way
right.
people know
more than
that
his
about
face.
Christopher Lee? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because his face is still like, I mean, you could just some fangs and he would have been Dracula for
Oh
there.
yeah,
Like
Oh,
he was
yeah.
not. I was like, man, you have a lot of friends for some
that's what
dude
it
that's
is.
so
Really weird that
intense.
he's a count and he's not a bad guy.
He's
Right.
He's a
always the
count and
bad
he's a good
guy.
guy. And
Right.
he's like, I don't know. Yeah, he's it's funny too because in the Lord of the Rings thing, he played a wizard who was like studying the
Oh, that's
dark arts,
right.
Yeah.
but got
That's
took over
right.
by the dark arts or whatever. He wasn't able to
Yeah.
resist. But
I
Count
always
de
forget he's
Richelieu, man,
dead.
that dude, he can study it all and he can resist it too. So
He can. Yeah.
that's
He
the
did
real
make some
man you
rookie
need.
mistakes though. Like, okay, like that there was a couple things that were driving me nuts. Like he had the cross and he, used that, but
The
then they kept leaving
cheesiest
it
cross I
behind.
ever saw.
It
Yeah.
was the biggest, clunkiest
I
cross
know.
I've ever seen.
He kept whipping it at people. He had good
Yeah.
aim,
He
but
did. He had
then they
perfect
would like
They
aim.
leave
threw
it
it right at
behind. I'm like,
Buffett
take your
or whatever.
cross.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, uh, Tanith and Simon get drawn back into the coven. Rex desperately tries to catch them, right? So we get this weird scene where Christopher Lee's character, Nicholas, the Count, gives Rex the task of going to pick up Tanith, and they're in this car, and she's getting
Like
hypnotized
the
by
Keystone Cops
Makata.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. By like an
And
extra side mirror that must have been in cars back then. I
yeah,
was like, what's
it was
that
like a
mirror doing?
weird, it was like a weird mirror that was like, yeah, it was very
For the
strange.
passengers so they could see like do their makeup and stuff. I didn't know like what that
I
mirror was
mean,
for.
yeah, I don't know either. It was very strange. But anyways, Tanith ends up stealing the car, and then Rex takes his brother-in-law's car and chases her.
Oh, well, but where else
Wrecks
do
it.
you bring, a potentially deadly devil
Right.
worshiper, but your brother's house where
But your
he's
brother's
got like
house.
a little
Yeah.
kid
When he's got
and,
a kid
And leave her
and yeah.
in the car with the keys
And
or
leave her in the
whatever.
car with the
yeah.
keys still in the
Rex,
car.
you dope. Get it
Yeah, Rex
together,
was
buddy. Rich Lou
he
would have never
redeemed
done
himself
that.
though. He
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
redeemed himself. But so yeah, so we get this chase scene and then Rex like
She's trying to get back to her master, basically, her
yeah, she's
Yeah.
trying to get
Sid
back to the cult.
Mokala.
Um Rex ends up wrecking his car and is knocked out for like 5 seconds. And then he comes to and he ends up finding Simon and Tanith at this house where they are preparing to go to a satanic gathering, right? So he follows them.
It's a good
Uh,
one. It's a real good
yeah,
one.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
He follows them, and they end up at this place called Salisbury
Scooby
Plain.
Doo style follows them like right behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're
So
not going to
they
be asked.
Somehow totally in sight, but not in sight. Yeah.
Right. And nobody carpools out to the site. I was just like,
No, they all take their separate 13 vehicles
right.
out to this site called Salisbury Plain. So during this rescue, mission, Rex ends up disrupting this Mayday ceremony by like driving his car into the crowd or whatever. But before that happens, we get full on devil. There's like this super crazy satanic ritual. People are drinking, they're like all dancing up on each other and stuff. And
Yeah, the wild
the
dance
devil,
parties here are yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that is
Or
one thing that, like, in terms of Crowley or maybe LeVay too, I don't know, but mostly Crowley and a lot of his people. Jack Parsons was another famous adherent who's was like a NASA rocket scientist too. But, anyways, they would have sex parties, like
Didn't
they,
Jack Parsons end up like blowing himself up or
yeah,
something
oh yeah,
crazy?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
There was like a bunch of who knows what really happened there kind of thing. But he was a rocket. But he had a
yeah,
whole cult like that too. He's pretty wound up being a pretty wealthy guy, and because he was such a successful rocket scientist, and I think he came from money too, actually, but I don't remember that part. But yeah, and they were all kind of like trying to do Crowley rituals, even if Crowley wasn't there. Crowley, I mean, Mokata was supposed to be Crowley. Again,
hmm
except that like Crowley was kind of a dipshit, but not quite that big of a dipshit. So it just was like, I don't know. His rituals were definitely, I mean, what Crowley was known for, especially, was like his powerful sex magic. So, and
yeah.
all the, and that's, and Parsons was really into it too. So, like, if he wanted a new idea for a rocket design, he'd like have some crazy sex party and then go into some kind of like
So were
trance or
they
whatever.
just having sex parties like and using it as like was the main goal to just have sex parties? But then they were
Probably,
using the
but I mean,
guise of a cult to have these sex
I think
parties.
those guys really believed that they were like, again, it's like this thing, like, are they actually recovering anything? If they were recovering anything, it would have been one of the, Bacchus, debauchery things that we hear about, or
right, like the
Dionysian
orgy and
type ritual
the
orgies. Yeah, because around the time when mystery cults, like the first mystery cults that we really know about, which were the Greek mystery cults, and then the Roman mystery cults, just were basically came straight out of Greek mystery cults. The Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what was happening. It's again because sometimes things were written by people who were opposed to them, and so you probably get some serious exaggeration. But according to like some of the Bacchanalian literature, it was like sex parties, but also like violence. Like people would like,
yeah.
yeah, like
Well, they did
there's
sacrifice a
supposedly,
goat at this one, so I mean
yeah, yeah.
They
know.
did. Yeah, they 100% did. I know. I was
When
not
was it
happy
that he
about that.
decided he had to stop it? I think it was because they were about to baptize the Tanith and Simon
Yeah.
in their satanic baptism or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
we got to get serious
That's
here.
enough. Right,
Yes.
right.
I just want to
Enough fun.
say, like, people need to watch this movie just for this scene. It's so outrageous.
Yeah,
It
so
is so funny.
let's get to it. Let's get to
Yeah.
it because I have a little backstory about the devil that appears. So the
Hell
devil
yeah.
appears under the guise of the goat of Mendes. And Mendes is the Greek name for the ancient Egyptian city of Jeddah. And Marty, what's the name of the god again?
God?
He no, I'm sorry, the Greek historian. I'm sorry.
Oh, Herodotus?
Herodotus, that's right. Herodotus, a Greek historian and geographer, stated that the god of Mendes was depicted with a goat's face and legs. Herodotus stated how all male goats were held in great respect by the Mendesians.
So I should just
So,
say something about Herodotus. He's
yeah,
not a very reliable narrator. Like, this
cool.
is an example, like where you, I mean, yeah, so he was considered the first historian. He did try to get the straight story, but his sources were often, pretty unreliable about things
Yeah,
that happened a long time ago, about societies that he never actually saw, and all that kind of stuff.
okay,
So we would
cool.
not consider this necessarily accurate, which is why it's
No,
funny that where we get the
it
goat of
is.
Mendes nowadays comes from this attempt to revive this kind of lost spirituality. Not until the 1900s did this goat come back in. By mistake, somebody thought it was, I mean, well, there's just a lot of thought it was something that it wasn't, basically because of Herodotus. Not because of Herodotus, because people just wanted to project into stuff more than what was actually there. And I guess the
Right.
guy who kind of revived this goat of Mendes thing um, what didn't intend it to be a satanic thing, but he did intend it to be like a balanced, like good and evil kind of thing, more of a yin yangy kind of thing, which is common in Gnosticism to have like this real defined duality between good and evil. But then the esoteric practice would be to somehow bring them back together. Now that's obviously, and that's what happens. It seems like when a lot of these occult kind of things are brought back, is that they just become, just the evil part. It's not about balance or anything. It's just about the victory of evil or whatever. So this goat is now like the sign of Satanism. And the reason why that is because Anton LaVey, when he started the Church of Satan right before this movie, I think this movie came out in 68 and the Church of Satan was started in 1966. And he chose the goat of Mendes as his, and the pentagram as his, symbol. So like people, and it was all very outrageous. So everybody was aware of it. Like, and that just instantly became associated with Satanism. But like again, LaVey didn't really understand that it was meant to be like this symbol of balance, not this symbol of just like pure evil or whatever.
Is
Or
that
maybe he did. I don't know.
Murray, is there any connection at all between, wasn't there the old passage in the Bible about the goats on the left, or they would be separate the goats on
Yeah,
the left
that's
and the
right.
sheep
That's
on the
the
right,
yes.
or whatever?
That's another
Yeah, so
big
goats
big
were the
part of where that
bad.
comes from. Yeah, but
Me too. I
that
don't
was
appreciate
meant
it
as a
feel
metaphorical
or
kind of
part
a
of that.
thing at
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, but
Yeah.
also
Okay.
I think Charlotte mentioned this before that they're mischievous little animals too. So they were definitely associated with tricksters. I mean, Pan
Mhm.
Yeah.
was a goat god, who was a trickster in Greek mythology. So yeah,
Yeah. But they're like in real life though, goats are super cute and they're super friendly.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I hate that they have been associated with Satanism because they shouldn't have any parts of that at all.
Mhm.
yeah. But this is an
Anyway,
interesting reversal here. This, I guess, satanic ritual. So it's a satanic baptism. So like a lot of what LaVey did, and a lot of it's just like take every Christian ritual and reverse it. So you're going to see a reverse baptism and a reverse communion later on, and actually a lot of like mythology around the vampire, not initially, but came to be like the vampires supping on blood was the reverse communion where they gave them eternal life, but a shitty kind of eternal life rather than a cool one. And so, because it really revolved around them being parasitic. But like, yeah, so you're just going to see a lot of what happened like later on. I think Crowley, even though it was all a bunch of sex magic, was to me a somewhat better designer of rituals than it just came to be so crass, like in the end, where people were just trying to make it pure evil or whatever. And that's not what Crowley was trying to do. I mean, he was trying to make it about his will for sure, which Anton LaVey also wanted to be about his will. And so I wonder about Makata here. Like, what is Makata's will? Is his will to be the will of Baphat, or they call this goat god Baphat, who's also Satan or whatever.
yeah.
Like, what is he trying to accomplish? Does he get power for being the henchman of Baphat or whatever? Buffett, I don't know how to say his name, but anyways, so yeah, it's yeah, for me. I feel like there's a little bit of a lack of motivation. Maybe he's just evil. I don't know, but he's not. If he's supposed to be Crowley, he's not really like that.
So I think, I mean, you and I, we've had this discussion many times. Whenever we watch one of these types of occult movies, I know when we went to go watch Long Legs in the theater, this was a topic that you brought up. Like, what is the motivation? And I don't think that, I mean, what is anybody's motivation, right? It's always to feel better than. I think that people in this case, Makata, you know, he's thinking that he's getting some kind of power or
Mhm.
some kind of I'm better than with what he's doing, right? And I that's what I think with everything when you're giving yourself to the devil or whatever, right? The motivation I think is power. Why does anybody start a cult? To have power over people, and to have, sex parties and things like that, just to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
power. It's just to have
Yeah.
power. Whether it's made up power or true power or whatever, it just makes them, so I think that this makes Makata feel powerful. He's got influence over all these people, and he's also able to do some crazy kind of like mind trickery also. And I don't know if that's coming from the devil or if that's just something he can do on his own and he's
It
using
seems like
it.
those
And
powers do come from him. You're right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
And
my
I think
thought.
he wants to be like number one to the devil, right? Like he wants to be his number one
Yeah.
servant. So
He
I
wants
think
to be
like
his
he's
number
like, look,
one.
I got you all these followers or,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, one, if you were planning on saying this too, Charlotte, is that I saw that when it was released, when this movie was released in the US, it was going to be called The Devil's Bride. And,
Yes.
visiting too, like part of Makata's, motivation too is he's bringing, who I'm assuming it is Tanith,
Right.
to our sorcery
Right.
Tanith. So he's going to bring the devil of this bride, and so he's like, the right hand man of the devil. So I don't know, like even in motivation in of itself, it's like he's trying to prove that he's, the best follower,
Right.
so
Right.
worthy of all the power that he may get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so the group escapes to the country home of Nicholas's niece Marie, played by Sarah Lawson, and her husband Richard Eaton, played by Paul Eddington. And then they're followed by the cult's leader, Makata, who has a psychic connection to Simon and Tanith. So after visiting the house while Nicholas is absent, because I'm gonna tell you what, right now, Count Nicholas, he was like never around. He was always leaving. He
I was
had to
doing
go to the
research.
library to do
Yeah.
research. And he's like
Yeah.
sending Rex to do all the hard shit while he's just like at the
And then gets
library or
mad at him when
something.
he like can't handle like
Yeah,
all the
yeah, exactly.
like, why do
So
you let him get up?
what?
I
It's
don't
like, where were
know.
you
Like
at?
I was sleeping for
They
five
had to do
minutes,
research.
Yeah.
So I love that part of the movie how Count Nicholas was always doing something and giving other people tasks to do.
He's a man
So
of
yeah,
letters.
Yeah, but
yeah,
he
exactly.
also gave shitty direction because
He
there were so
did.
many times like he left so many critical things out. I'm like, you weren't going to warn them that Makata's going to show up and possibly
Right.
hypnotize you, or like, not to, he already knew about the don't look in the eyes, kind of
Yes.
thing. So,
Yes. Yes.
he's just like, don't let them, get up from bed or whatever. But he doesn't say, hey, some creepo is going to show up and
Right.
probably hypnotize you. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No idea. I know. Like I agree with you completely. Like the worst directions. So yeah, so while Count Nicholas is gone, there is an unsuccessful attempt to influence Simon and Tanith to return. Fearing Makata's retaliation, Count Nicholas, Rex, and the Eatons hide in the Eatons' house. They draw a giant circular diagram on the floor in chalk. Mikado forces Nicholas and the others to defend themselves through a night of black magic attacks, ending with the conjuring of the Angel of Death, which was what? A skeleton on a horse with wings? I was like, what is this?
Very cool.
yeah.
We're going to see a lot of
I
sacred circles, by the way. So this is probably one of the more well-known ones in this movie, but it shows up in a lot of movies, a
I
circle of
wonder if
protection
this
or
was
something
like the
like that.
first. I wonder if this was like the
In a
first.
movie, maybe, but like no,
Yeah.
it was
No, I
a
know. I
occult
know
thing,
it's a
whatever.
thing. I'm just
Yeah,
talking about like on film, was this the first like sacred circle? I wonder.
yeah. I don't know. Although
So you guys,
it was in Nosferatu, wasn't it? The first one? Maybe not.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, you're right. The very first Nosferatu, the Harker's boss is sitting in a circle, but that's like I mean, it's not a circle of protection. That's like a circle of
Yeah, I mean,
you could conjure in a circle too,
that's
right? I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's like
yes, yes.
it's
That's
it's
Well,
what
that
he
was the
was doing.
idea in demonology. So, talking again about why people would summon a demon or whatever. when people did it, it was usually for buried treasure, believe it or not. It's like that dumb. But like there were other things as well. But so you would draw the sacred circle so that you could conjure the demon, but they were dangerous. You had to hopefully have a binding spell that would bind them so that they would have to do your will or whatever. But if Satan worshippers learn anything from this movie or anywhere or anything else about this problem of summoning the devil, is like it doesn't work out for you in the end.
Yeah.
And they don't you don't wind up binding them and they do your will. What winds up happening is they bind you and you do their will. So that's sort of how this works. But yeah, the circle would have kept you safe when you summoned the spirit. If you were even if you were just sometimes it was necromancy, sometimes it was just a dead person that you needed to talk to. It was still very dangerous. So you had to stay inside that sacred circle when you conjured them.
I feel
Yeah.
like the count though should have known. So this is a part where I was just yelling at the screen that where's Peggy and the butler? Like you have them in the same house. You're
Yeah.
just like tucking her in, and then we're like, we're just gonna have a little
Yeah,
ritual down in the drawing
Right.
room, but you stay up here and like that.
And you already
It's
know,
like,
right?
for
Yeah,
sure.
you know what's
Something's
going to
going down.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Count Nicholas fights the Angel of Death, but it ends up killing Tanith. And then he has this line that says, "For once summoned, it must take a life." So I guess once you summoned the Angel of Death, that means somebody has to die. I guess that makes sense
They
since
can't
it's
leave
the
it
Angel of
empty
Death.
handed. Yeah.
Right. So after Makata's attacks are defeated, he kidnaps Eaton's young daughter Peggy, played by Rosalind Landor. Count Nicholas has Tanith's spirit possess Marie in order to find Makata, but they only are able to get a single clue until Rex realizes that the cultists are at the house from earlier in the movie. So they went back to that place, and all 13 cars went back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Benny Hill scene. But
exactly. Exactly.
I just wanted to back up just for a second and talk
Yeah.
about that what they see happening to Peggy is she's attacked by a spider. And so the reason why I think, if I understand correctly, a giant spider, by the way, some kind of
Yes.
supernatural spider, and
Yes.
the reason why they have to like summon the angel of death, which is apparently some spell that Richard knows, is to like get rid of that spider or something.
Yeah,
if I
I think
understood,
because well, Peggy at that point is just like a mirage, like an image or whatever that they've
Yeah.
conjured to
yeah,
try to
Right.
get the mom and dad to leave the circle.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not real Peggy, but like the spider,
who
I think
summons the
is
angel of
real.
death or whatever? I guess in
It's the
that.
count because he feels that it's necessary to like end it, like to stop it, from happening. But he's really hesitant to do it, as I recall.
Because
Like he's
somebody's got to die. And
yeah,
so
he's like,
like,
I can't. And then they were telling him, you must, so because
uh,
I think the shit was just going down too crazy at that point.
so someone's got to die.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole scene was a little blurry for me because I wasn't sure if the Count conjured it or was it part of Makata's thing. Like I wasn't really sure like who conjured it
Because he
and
did say,
why.
like
But it
Makata,
made
yeah, did he say something like, I may be leaving, but something worse is going to come back. There's something will follow me. Like so,
yeah,
when he first,
yeah,
got banished from the house,
right.
um, they were like, he just gives this warning that something's coming back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was
A
this
giant
is where
spider.
like this is where the like shit just falls off the rails for this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it just is a lot thrown at you. Now I will say this. I will give this movie this. As crazy and as bonkers as it is, it never stops. I mean, there's never a dull moment. Right from the beginning, right to the end. there's no dull moments in this movie, which is I feel like is kind of unusual
Right.
for like a 60s movie. Because even like in The Birds, I felt like there was moments where it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like get on with it or whatever. But this is action packed. It's just one like just they just throw everything at the
Mhm.
wall and they try to see what sticks, and basically everything sticks because
Because they've got like
there's
that concurrent scene, right? There's the circle with the parents and Simon
right.
and the Count, but then in parallel, there's the barn scene
Yes.
Rex
with
and
Right.
Tanith,
Rex
which
and Tanith
seemed a little
going
Right.
on at the
suspect,
same
that whole
time.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rex seemed a
Yeah.
little, I don't know. It was not, he just seemed a little, it was weird the way he was. I mean, I guess he had to coddle her that way and like hold her down and stuff. But
Well, they
you could, you
like
could, you could
fell
interpret
in
that a
love or
little
something.
differently.
I was gonna say,
It
yeah,
was kind of a
he
weird.
fell in love with Tanith in the car, which in the car
While
before
she
the
was possessed, like it
yeah,
wasn't even
that's
really her.
I know that's what I was just getting ready to say. Like she was acting super weird, and he just immediately fell in love with her. Like
Yeah, he's
I
like,
was
I'm
just
into
like,
this.
he was into it.
Give me
He
some
was
more possessed
into the
crazy.
crazy Tanith. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rex was definitely, and I don't know if Tanith was really feeling it, but Rex was definitely
So
into
why
it.
did he just take her to that barn to
Like
like
she
try to
didn't go
like
back, I guess, because she ran
to like
away. And then
Yeah,
he said, because even the Count was like, why didn't he just bring her back here or force it to?
right.
And then the mom was like, I don't know. He said she wouldn't go. So she didn't even have a good answer. She
I
was just
know.
like,
He's like, I don't know what
well,
Rex is
they got it. We
doing.
got to have a double scene here. So we got to
Yeah,
get.
right, right. So yeah. So like I said, the cultists are at the house from earlier in the movie. Simon tries to rescue Peggy on his own, but he is recaptured by the cult. Count Nicholas, Richard, Rex also try to rescue her, but they are defeated by Makata. Some kind of like powerful force starts controlling Marie and ends Peggy's trance. She then leads Peggy into like a to like recite some kind of spell which transforms the cultist coven room into something similar to like a church. I don't know. Once again, it was just like crazy stuff was
reverse
just
church.
happening.
I thought
Reverse
it
church.
had been a church, and I didn't know if like for some reason the Satan worshippers didn't realize that the curtains hid the cross
Yeah.
behind there, and
I have
you
no
know,
idea.
I was like, did you guys just walk in? You're like, oh, this is a nice place to
I think they did. I
hang
think
out because
they